Dark football. This is the story of a football club from a particular African country that secretly uses black magic to win their football matches. This is how they were able to pull it off effortlessly. This football club had a coach who actually practiced the use of voodoo. He would take his key players to herbalists to get some kind of power to win matches. This football club had won a lot of medals, and some of their players were top players in their country. Before some of the matches begin, the coach and players would have gotten there earlier, and they would find a way to sprinkle blood of dead goats on the pitch. Anytime they do this, they always win the matches, and some of their opponents would sustain serious injuries. Their goalkeeper was heavily fortified. He took certain concoction to enhance his stamina and speed. The goalkeeper would become possessed by some kind of spiritual force. Their coach regularly used a form of magic to examine their opponents. But one particular day everything took a different turn. They traveled to a different country to play a friendly match. The goalkeeper did not take his necessary magic concoctions, and their opponents scored 5 goals and they were only able to score 1 goal. They lost, and this was a big slap to their coach, and he was not happy after this. Therefore, the coach decided to substitute the goalkeeper with another guy that wouldn't disappoint in taking the necessary concoctions. This time around, things began to happen differently. This diabolical coach told his players not to eat any food for the next 3 days. Here is how it happened. The last goalkeeper did not take his magic concoctions in the last football match, and because of this, their club lost the match. Their coach decided to substitute the goalkeeper, and the new goalkeeper was even more fortified than the last one. The coach decided to use some magic powers to weaken some of the opponents of his club. Sometimes some of their opponents would collapse or faint on the football field, and some other times, their opponents would be exhausted, and no matter how prepared their opponents came, they would start playing as if they were confused. This strange club started to win majority of their games. On one particular day, the diabolical coach took his key players to a powerful herbalist in a village and told the players not to eat anything for the next 3 days to complete the rituals they did. The players were only allowed to drink water. Some of the new players in the club were afraid of their coach because they knew how dangerous he was. If they told anybody not associated with the club, they could suffer serious madness or death. They had no choice to comply for the rituals. After the rituals was done, the match began, and they faced the club that beat them earlier, but this strange club had so much energy to play even if they had not eaten for days, and they beat their opponents hands down. Now people began to suspect this club for using some form of voodoo to win all the time, but the coach had a solution to this. The coach figured out a way to suppress this news about his club and decided to start the match with some of his players that use black magic, and during second half, the coach would then make substitutions and remove the key players and add regular or newer players that don't use black magic. As a result of this, the diabolical football club started to lose quite often, so that the rumors would stop circulating. The coach made sure that not all of his players were participating in the rituals. Some of the key players in the club would involve in rituals that were disturbing. Sometimes they would not take their bath before a match. On some other occasion, they would be told to swallow some strange substances, and they would use some liquid substances to wash their hands and legs before a specific match. If they were about to play a match that they can't afford to lose, the coach will use all his spiritually strong players both in the first half and second half. Some of these players decided to sign to international clubs. The coach decided to assist them with the magic charms to succeed in these international clubs. But these charms had some limitations.